How's it going, guys, and welcome to the couch, where basically, I think whenever I'm doing a video on the couch, like, you'll notice there's a playlist, an actual playlist on my channel called The Couch. I think this is basically where I'm going to be doing all of my opinion videos. So if I have an opinion on something, or if I hear something in the news, I think you guys should hear my opinion, or anything, you know, those sort of reviews, things like that, those sort of lines, I'm going to do them right here in videos called The Couch. And today, I want to have a bit of a talk about Battlefield 1. So to me, the new Battlefield looks absolutely incredible. The gameplay we've seen is awesome, the vehicles look amazing, the weapons look really cool. However, there are plenty of people that are, as usual, just trying to find things that are completely wrong with Battlefield 1. Now, first of all, there will be, I can pretty much guarantee this, there will be things wrong with the game when it comes out. Now, here's something that's happened to me. So basically, the last game I got properly revved up for, like a game where I don't think I've ever been so excited, was Destiny. I was looking forward to that game for well over a year. I was keeping up to updates, I was looking for newsletters and things from Bungie. I was looking at videos, any sort of gameplay I could get my hands on. I thought it looked like it was going to be the greatest game ever. I couldn't find any loopholes in their advertising or anything like that. I was set. This looked like the greatest game in history. However, obviously it came out. So since that game, I haven't found a dislike for gaming. I don't dislike new games and I don't hate games, but at the same time, I don't rev myself up for games heaps, and that's pretty much why, because there is always going to be things wrong with games. It's very rare you find a game where there's just absolutely nothing wrong with it, and just accept it. Like, if there's a game that comes out that you think is perfect, that you absolutely love, and you can't find anything wrong with it, and you can play it for hours and hours, go ahead. That is awesome, and that is exactly the sort of game that you want as a person. For me, one of those games was Battlefield 4. I did not get that game on release. I wasn't set for a massive release. Like, I wasn't thinking that this is going to be the perfect game ever. I hadn't revved myself up, but I bought it, I got hooked, and I could not stop playing it, and I still play it today, and I still love it. There are still things wrong with that game, however. The DLC releases was stupid, I have to admit. Some of the gameplay on current gen consoles like 360 and PS3 just did not work. The map's layout were a bit weird. But there was not enough wrong with it to deter me from the fact that I just enjoyed it, and it was just that much fun. However, like I say, don't rev yourself up big time for games. Don't let it just be an all or nothing thing. Just be prepared for those few things that are going to be wrong with it, and I think that you'll come out enjoying games a lot better. So with the new Battlefield 1, I've had a look at some gameplay. I've seen pretty much everything there is to know. I'm keeping up with Jack Frags, Level Cap Gaming. They've got some first-hand videos still coming out, and some new gameplay on the pre-alpha and stuff like that are really cool. Go and check those guys out. If you have a look at their channels and stuff, they've got plenty of gameplay if you want to have a look at some Battlefield 1. And it looks like there are going to be a few problems. I think weapon balancing is going to be a big problem. I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of server issues. Now, of course, that was a major issue of the release of Battlefield 4, so I don't think they're really going to go through that again entirely. But I wouldn't be surprised if there are still a few troubles with server issues, especially down under in Australia where I am. It could be a little topsy-turvy, we'll see. Blowing holes through walls and things like that may be a little bit weird. There'll probably be a couple of problems with animations and stuff like that. I'd say, you know, the biggest one would be, like I say, the balancing of the weapons. So that'll be probably be a little bit tricky, and that'll be something I think that rather than balancing them with recoil and things like that, it's looking like they've balanced them with bullet spread and stupid little things like that, which I don't think people are going to like. I think I think DICE will find that they're not big fans of that either once the game actually comes out and more people start playing it. So I wouldn't be surprised if that changes after a little bit, but I'm prepared for these sort of issues. I'm prepared for these issues. I don't think it's going to be a perfect game upon release, but I do think I'm really going to enjoy it. I love Battlefield, Battlefield 3, Battlefield Bad Company, Battlefield 4, all these Battlefield games that have come out in the last, 6 years or so have been absolutely incredible. I love them. And so I have complete faith in DICE. I think the game is going to look incredible. After a month or two, it'll probably play brilliantly. But be prepared for, or upon release, it's not going to be a perfect game. It's not going to be absolutely perfect. The next thing is people having basically arguments with inaccuracies to actual World War I. So that's the second thing. And I think here's my view on that overall opinion. Now, of course, this game is not a complete replica of Battlefield 1. Some of the vehicles in this thing were nowhere near as fast and nowhere near as mobile as they are in the game. Some things would have only appeared for a day, or some of them would have been built and probably were prepared to go into battle in World War I, but never actually did. You know, they sort of said, these tanks are awesome, let's send them in, and then the last minute go, no, look, they're just not going to work. Some of the tanks just got stuck in the mud. That was a big problem. They literally just got stuck and just became absolutely useless. That was a big problem in World War I. A lot of it was just trench warfare. Like, it'd literally be one team would sit there with a machine gun, the other country had run over, charge through no man's land, and just get gunned down. It was absolutely disgusting, horrible warfare, but at the same time, some people look at this and going, that's stupid, that's what World War I should have been, and that's what this game should be. And then other people are expanding on that and saying that that's what World War I was. Don't disrespect the war. Make a World War II shooter and don't even bother bringing that stuff in. However, that's just Here's the thing. We're here to have fun, basically. Now, there is no insult meant in these games to World War. There is nothing saying that this anything wrong with these World Wars, and I pay the highest of respects to every life lost and everyone involved in that war. Families at home, men who actually went there, and I'm sure, I can pretty much guarantee the people at DICE feel exactly the same way. These are men of honor, no matter what side of the war, no matter who you were. These are some of the bravest people in history. This game is really just made for fun. It's made because people enjoy sort of warfare. People enjoy history. Now, this is not accurate, but if they made it accurate, if they made every war accurate, these games would be so dull and so boring. They wouldn't work. There'd be problems. There'd be inaccurate. There'd be more inaccuracies than some of those accuracies, I'd say, as much as that doesn't really make sense. But you get what I'm getting at. There is no disrespect intended, and if we had an actual accurate game, every war game that came out would be ridiculous. And then there's some people that are just talking about it with World War I, and I kind of think, there have been war games coming out for years. There have been war games coming out about World War I already. And what about all the other games in every other war, whether that be Modern Warfare, World War II, anything like that? It's, you know, I think it doesn't really make sense. And if you wanted to make it realistic, I think the planes would be too hard to fly, tanks would be too hard to drive, guns would be clogging up, things would be filling with mud, everyone would be cold, you couldn't run, you'd get exhausted within a couple of seconds, you'd spend 2 days just sat there, waiting either to go in or waiting to be, you know, actually come out of training, move into the battlefield. You'd have tactics of just sitting, you know what I mean? It just, if you get realistic, it gets dull, it gets boring, as a video game that is, and I think that the argument that it's just not realistic, I think is pointless. I think it's a stupid argument. That's my opinion on that. And finally, the last one is, why isn't World War II? This one I kind of agree with, in the sense that I think a World War II game would have been heaps cooler. Hopefully, the next Battlefield they make, whether that'll be Battlefield 5 or Bad Company 3, I don't know, hopefully the next Battlefield they make will be World War II. That'd be a great thing to expand on. It'd have an easy storyline to have sort of infiltrating or sort of, you know, military spies or something heading into the Nazi government of Germany. That would be absolutely amazing. That would be a cool story. You could create some awesome maps, some awesome dogfights. It'd be really mad. I think that there's someone's come through and found cavalry and things in Battlefield 1 and World War 1 and thought that that'd just be so cool. They've expanded on it really well, and I think I'm just that impressed with what they've done and what they've taken out of World War I to make this game, or what I've seen so far, that I don't really care anymore, and I've completely forgotten about World War II as a video game. And so now I'm sort of looking at this. I've been doing some research. Jack Frags himself, the YouTuber, has been putting out videos on some history of things that would have happened in World War I. They'd be really cool to keep up with. They're quite interesting. I think it's re-inspired me to go back into World War I and look into it again and find some things. I've been going through different countries, what weapons were in development, what weapons could they use, all these different things. It's actually really sparked up an interest in me to actually go back through a bit more of this. So as cool as World War II was, and as, you know, as awesome as a video game that would have been, I kind of lost interest in the sense that they've just done that well, just done that good with this release, and done all this pre-alpha of gameplay. I'm seeing everything looks that awesome. The gameplay animations, the melee attacks look mad. There's just so many things that look that cool that I've almost forgotten about it. I think the game looks absolutely awesome. So I'm very excited. I'm prepared for those things that are going to be wrong with the game. I do not care about all those people that think that it's wrong and that think that it's inaccurate, because if it wasn't inaccurate, it'd be boring as. And I did want a World War II shooter. That's what I really wanted. But at the same time, it looks that awesome that I don't really care anymore. So be prepared for those inaccuracies. Be prepared for those problems with the game. And this should be an absolutely awesome shooter. Oh, one more thing. If you're coming in from Call of Duty, if you're one of those people, there are plenty of people I've seen that have they've seen this game and they've gone, this looks absolutely awesome, I hate the new Call of Duty, I'm going to switch from Call of Duty to Battlefield. You probably will not like this game very much. Now, this is not to say don't try it. For God's sake, please, come and try Battlefield. Absolutely amazing. You might love it. I think it's the greatest game ever. It's my favorite game ever, basically. I love Battlefield. But if you're coming from Call of Duty, you're looking for fast-paced action, smaller maps, team, one-on-one, building a class completely suited to you rather than completely suited to the team and its actual classes and, you know, helping out your teammates rather than your score and your KD, then this game is going to annoy you. You're going to think it's boring and you might think it's frustrating. So go and maybe Battlefield 4 is like 20 bucks. Go and pick it up, have a bit of a game, see what you think of it. This Battlefield 1 is supposed to be more fast-paced and a bit more melee-inducing, but having vehicles and huge open maps and having to think about cover and smash the walls, it's a completely different game. Now, I'm not saying Call of Duty is crap. I'm not saying Battlefield is better or anything like that. All I'm saying is it is a different game. Be prepared for that different game because you may find it completely boring, and if you do that and you come in super excited hoping it's going to be sort of like Call of Duty, you may find that a bit, you know, I don't know, it might be a bit disappointing. So I would suggest go and try Battlefield 4 for a bit, have a bit of a game. I think it's awesome. You'll probably actually love it, but just be prepared that it is a completely different game. That's it. So what do you guys think of Battlefield 1? I reckon it looks absolutely incredible. I can't wait. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll catch you later. TK out. Have a good one.